Alrighty, Crusaders, we are almost there. Just 4 more problems left. 7 and 8 are very similar to 5 and 6. Just a couple more examples for us. So, number 7, I bet you can guess our first step. I'm going to have you rewrite this as 3 times the square root of 75 times the square root of x squared. Alright, just to be consistent, I will have us simplify this square root first. So think to yourself, you want to come up with a number that multiplies to get you 75, and you want one of those numbers to be a perfect square. I'm thinking 25 times 3, because 25 is a perfect square, and 25 times 3 gets us 75. So 25, square root of 25 is 5. So we end up with 5 square root of 3 from our square root of 75. Just like before, let's bring down our 3 from before. And ooh, interesting, what is the square root of x squared? Well, one thing I'm hoping you're learning from this is that if you square something, the squared part and the square root part are opposites. It's like adding a number and subtracting a number. Because what number multiplies by itself to get you x squared? Just x, right? X times x is x squared. So, the square root of x squared is x times x, which is just x. Okay? Now, we want to finish this off. We're going to multiply 3 times 5, which is 15. I bet you can guess. Just to make it easier for you. I like to write the x in front of the square root, but you're also welcome to write it like I did above right here. So 15x square root of 3 is the simplified version of 3 square root of 75x squared. And anytime I'm using the square root, you could also use the word radical. It means the same thing. Number 8, we have 8 times the square root of 36a cubed. So let's look at this one here. Let's break this down into 8 times the square root of 36 times the square root of a cubed. And just to be consistent, we'll start with this square root. So what is the square root of 36? What number multiplies by itself to get us 36? That answer, 6 times 6, just 6 is our square root of 36. So we have 8 times 6. That 8 came from right up here. And now we want to simplify our a cubed. So think of a perfect square inside of a cubed. This one is a little tricky. You want to think of what 2 things you can multiply together where one of them is a perfect square. If we multiply a squared times a, hopefully you remember your exponent rules that we did before Christmas break. A squared times a makes a cubed. And what is the square root of a squared? We just did that one in the problem number 7 next to us. So square root of a squared, what number multiplies by itself to get us a squared is just a times a. And square root of a does not simplify. So this square root of a squared, that simplifies down for us as just a. And this square root of a stays underneath the square root because we cannot simplify that. So we have 8 times 6 times a square root of a. 8 times 6 is 48, so we have 48a times the square root of a as our final answer here on number 8.